Uncle D, the Canadian ass man. What do? I photograph booty. Who's booty? Who's ever gonna show up? So what's gonna happen today? Gonna interview about 4 or 5 girls, see if they got what it takes, see if they got the curves, the rump, the bump, to be part of the Uncle D empire. Hey, what's happening?
Hi, how
you
are
made
you?
it? Oh. Yeah, you look good back there. Come on in. So you brought your stuff, right?
Yes.
Cool. I just need 3 outfits. I want 3 different looks from you. So essentially, I wanted something in tights. I wanted the booty shorts, and one other. So you got the white. The white shorts look like they'd be pretty hot. But I like this thing. Maybe the white shorts and this hot pink thing. A lot of times the girls will show up and they'll have some of the stuff that looks great to the human eye. You know, so when you're shooting fetish stuff, you're shooting booty stuff, it's all about the certain look. You want to capture the tease, and you may be able to do that when you go to a dance club with the outfit that you're wearing. But when you're on camera, it's a whole different thing, right? You want the tight, shiny stuff, because what the shine does, it kind of reflects the light back, as opposed to absorbing it and makes your ass, your butt, whatever you want to call it, look a little more curvy, a little bit more rounder, kind of, you know, flatters the female form. So anything that I buy, it always has like some stretch to it. So anything that's like, when you buy your regular old school denim jeans, you gotta fit them so they fit the body that you're buying them for. And I have so many different girls that come through. Some have really big butts, some girls have smaller butts but more bubbly. So you want something that's gonna be a smaller base, so that usually a lot of the Brazilian cut jeans. So I'll buy the stuff like this that when they wear it, it just stretches. Like you see how far this goes out? I could almost do a workout with it. So when you get the really big butts, that works. Then you get stuff like this that has some shine to it. So when a girl's butt's in this thing, it just makes it look that much bigger, almost like 3 times the size. So somebody that's, you know, a 36 hip would fit this as well as somebody that's like a 44.
How do I look?
So far, so good. But maybe you might want to turn around.
Sure.
Yeah, it's quite the booty. I think that whole North American thing where mainstream media's kind of push women to be these skinny little rakes with fake boobs. It's like, to me, it's so unappealing. I like a woman just to be those natural curves, you know, that's just those hourglass shapes. You got the nice little waist and this big round hips and ass, and she definitely has that. So she's not. She's got a sweet smile. She's got good skin. She's like that girl next door, Latina, which is this kind of cute and sexy, the kind of girl you see in a grocery store. And yes, you do find the hottest chicks in the grocery stores. People always ask me, how do you get your girls? You know, for some weird thing, man, I've been pretty smooth with ladies since I was a teenager. And I think a lot of women, through my experience, they like the rebel, they like the bad boy. And it's not like I'm trying to be something, I'm just an outspoken, blunt guy. And I think a lot of it's the confidence, they like the whole look, so I always thought, well, why not market this? You know, sure, I could live for it today, and sure, youth will pass me away, you know, and I'm kind of building a bit of an empire, I'm building a statement. So when I'm old and gray, or older and grayer, I got something to stand by.
We got D very involved as our manager, but more as a family member, like an uncle or something like that. So that when we had conflicts within the band and stuff like that, instead of me approaching Ange and saying, okay, no, this is not working, or your girlfriend this, or we got a little bit of conflict and drama and stuff like that, to leave it, you know, detached, we would talk to D, we'd bring him in, and he'd help mediate the situation so it wasn't a direct thing. And he'd kind of overlook the whole situation.
Put your drinks down, take the battery out of your hearing aid and turn it up real loud. Let's make some noise for Easy! Sleezy!
He's opened a lot of doors and represented us more than a couple of times and stuff like that. And the beauty of it is he hasn't had to do it for no reason, because it's not necessarily that he's gotten anything out of it now. You know, I'm sure he will in the future and we all rise to success. But he's pretty much just done it out of the will of his heart, and understanding, I think, that where we share a lot of commonness, and I think where we kind of give back to him in return, is the path that he chose. He's had to spend a lot of alone time building up his business and not really having like another guitar player or a business partner to get to turn to and kind of get that gratification. So him building a little family with us and stuff like that has been to feed off each other and type of things. When he has problems, we try our best to help, and we bring him in when we need help and stuff like that. So it's been a beautiful mutual relationship.
Wolfgang, what's up, bud? Good. How's Easy Sleezy doing today? Oh, right on. Now, what day is that? Okay. Cool. So you want me to intro you guys? Is this thing actually going to be on TV or what? Excellent. Cool. All right, I'll be there. Bring the camera, bandana, and I'll bring you the voice. All right, brother. I'll see you then. On the inside, man, I'm a nerd. You know, I may have a pretty cool look by rock and roll standards, but I'm a geek on the inside. So I'm always staying on top of all the latest gear, the latest gadgets, the latest video, the latest digital cameras. I use two types of cameras. I use one for video, one for photo. The way technology is these days, you can pretty much do both into one, but I like my preferences, I like my lenses to be different. So for my body of the cameras, you know, there's two main ones out there. It's really apples and oranges, which is better. Both are great, just comes down to personal preference. So when I'm doing in studio, I might use a lens that's a little, gives you a little bit more depth of field. I need the wide angle, because since I shoot the booty, you need to capture that. I usually shoot on the road, pretty much in the field, as they say. So I want something a little bit more compact, that's going to give me lots of light, letting a lot of light in. So, because I'm not going to be using a lot of light outdoors, I might use a flash on the camera, maybe a shield to reflect the sun, and that's it. Since the light's coming this way, make sure you stick your ass this way, right? So we get the halo. Yeah, towards that way. We'll do the full body shot first. Since I don't have the traditional office, all my workload is pretty much on a laptop. So way back in the day, I had office at home, I'd put everything on the main computer, but now with me being on the road a lot, you know, time is very important, so I want my workflow to be as quick as possible, and the easiest way to do that is with a fast laptop that I can do all my video editing, all the photo editing, manipulation, and then I want a good camera. So when I'm out on the road, I want something I can just pretty much throw in the bike, throw my backpack for a plane trip, and just get out there and go. One folder, skin-tight jeans, where are you, mama? So what usually happens once I'm done the shoot, I take the compact flash card, put it in the computer, download everything, and I have a thing called presets, and it's kind of called a little section called actions. So instead of me having to go rotate the image, do the contrast to it, put my little logo on it, put a frame around it, and then save it, I hit one button so that's done automatically. So I just put it in and put it and direct the program to go to the folder for the geeks in you, and hit play, and boom, it does. So I do all the horizontal ones. This is horizontal. And then I go in and do all the vertical ones. And then once that's done, I'll go through again and edit them accordingly, meaning grab which ones look the best. Because some of the lighting will be off, the shadows will be a bit funky, or maybe she might be making a weird expression, and I'll delete those. And then, you know, for an update, I might do 120, 160 photos for the members, and then move on to the next outfit. And that's pretty much it. I went to college to kind of get my foot into radio. My thing was, I didn't want to be the band on stage and only having that to offer a record rep. So I thought, you know what, I'll get on their level. I got an education. I got my foot in the door at a mainstream rock station.
Uncle D was an operator. They call it an operator, a production assistant. I like it better because, you know, he's not operating a bus, he's operating a radio show. And it was always important to maintain energy level. You know, D could always bring that out in me, or bring that out in any kind of, you know, announcer that was on, because it's really important. I mean, turn on the mic, you don't want to sound bored, you want to sound like you're happening, and D could always bring that out. And the other aspect of it was the Rock Radio Network, which D was involved with, and so, you know, there's bands like Motley Crue, there was people that came through, so numerous to mention, maybe Black Crowes, that kind of stuff.
So that worked for a while, but then it's just, something was lacking, man. I'm in, you know, I'm working a pretty kicking job, you know. But money wasn't great, that's radio. But the connections were phenomenal, and I've always had the drive to do something on my own.
These shows that he's doing as well, this one and the other ones, are really indicative of what Uncle D's like. And it's hard to capture sometimes, especially the business that he's in, that we're in.
I got to the point where, you know what, I've worked with a lot of cool people, but I've also worked with a lot of a-holes in my day. And, you know, that wasn't the overall drive of why I wanted to create the Uncle D thing. You know, I enjoyed it. I like booty, I like the tight clothing, I like the whole sex appeal. And this was in the infancy of the internet. So when it was starting out, I was online, started a little website, while I was working the radio station. Put that stuff together and just started selling VHS tapes. Girls in tight clothing just doing their thing. That's why I manage them. Got a little tear to my eye, it's pretty good. I don't have many vices in life other than butts and energy drinks. Yeah, I like my cold ones as well. I am Canadian. But you know what, man? I'm just, the one thing that gets me going, I don't smoke. You know, I'm not into all the other substances that are out there. But my one vice is the energy drinks. So, and it's liquid. I work out, you know, try to stay fit. Yeah, I'm getting a little older, so I do a little more cardio, you know, a little more liquid. But yeah, there's nothing like having a nice cold energy drink. I feel like an infomercial right now. Anybody that's a creative individual, whether you're painting a portrait, you're photographing a portrait, you're writing a song, anything that you start from nothing, to fuel the fire, it comes from within. It's not so much something you can describe, it's something you feel. And if you've never felt it, you'll never understand what a person is describing as it becomes very hard. So for me, it always comes down, I think I like being a rebel. I just like doing things that has a little bit more shock value than your common stuff that's out there. You know, so the more kind of a risque I can be out there without being disrespectful. So anything I do to my body, anything I do to my person, it only affects me. It doesn't affect anybody else.
You know, he's the ASSman and I'm a guitar guy, but somewhere in the middle, there's rock and roll. Rock and roll is a very colorful thing, and it's involved probably in many people's lives.
And this is the peace song, right? It's from...
Well, we were doing the Imagine concert. We were working together with them, and we were the corporate sponsor or the guitar company for that concert.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't happen, but this is what my logo was going to look like for that concert.
Right, and you always have the Canadian flag in the center, right?
That's the logo, right?
Right. Uncle D skull in the middle, you know, an ass, a tongue.
A lot of it's just his work ethics. We talk about how we came from nothing and worked our way up by being good, hard-working people, honest people. Yeah, he's in a certain industry that may not be for everybody, and I'm in a different industry, but we became friends because of our ethics and our backgrounds.
Whenever any entrepreneur out there takes a chance and realizes that they got to make their paycheck, they got to actually hustle to make the money for next month's rent, for the next meal on the table, that is one of the most scariest times of my life, man. I'd go to bed like, oh man, I'm sick as a dog because of the stress. Because I quit everything. I didn't have a paycheck. And I quit before I realized that the site would actually work. You know, I didn't even have a membership based yet. So I gave myself, it was like the new year, like 2000, 2001. I said, you know what, quit everything and launch a membership and cross my fingers. And I know I had a lot of fans out there that would buy the videos and DVDs and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know if they would actually join. And I would spend 3 weeks, day and night. And when people say, yeah, working online, it's no big deal. But when you're spending 14 hours mentally online looking at, sure, I'm looking at booty, but I'm also doing all the back end stuff, and that's just all the nerd stuff, doing the coding, creating the website. And then you go to bed at night and watching your bank account get lower and lower and lower because there's no money coming in. Then you launch it, and all of a sudden, man, I've never been so excited. 3:30 in the morning, somebody actually joined the website once I launched it at midnight. And I couldn't sleep. I went to bed, I think, has anybody joined? Like every hour I'd pop up and check my stats. Anybody joined yet? And when they finally joined, man, seriously, the tears came to the eyes. Because you know what? That's the start. That's all you needed, confirmation that, yeah, if you stick to your guns, it'll happen.
I mean, he's a rock and roll guy. He loves music, and I know he plays good guitar. And I had a retail store up in Barrie. He called me, says, hey, Mike, can you build a guitar and custom paint job for me? And we sat down for a while. It didn't take much, didn't take long. I got one of my top artists to work together with Uncle D and came up with this beautiful piece of work. I love it. It came out great. At the time when Uncle D and I talked about this guitar, we're called Carp-Rudley Guitars now, but at the time it was called Dot on Shaft Guitars. We built this custom guitar for Uncle D, just based on, I would call this his logo, or I would call this his branding. And I didn't really have too much other than, handing it over to one of my best artists and talking with Uncle D, and we came with this great product, or great guitar for Uncle D, a custom guitar. and I hope to be building a lot more for him in the near future.
For me, rock and roll during the 90s, it kind of died a bit, you know? I was never into the whole grunge era. Great music, great musicians. Did I feel it? Not for me personally, you know? However, new bands that are coming out now, man, like everything from The Shine down to Easy Sleazy, it's just kind of bringing back the heart of rock, you know? If you can't pick up an acoustic guitar and sing with it, you know, an effects processor, you're not a rock star. You're not a rock and roller, you know? It's all about having the hook and having the punch and having it in your face and still be accomplished musicians. So music's come around, you know, it's like anything returns. It's back in the 70s, man, the bell bottoms, they always come back. The acid wash jeans, it all comes back. Same thing with the music, because that's what stayed.
I get asked all the time, like almost every day from bands, endorse me, endorse me. Every day there's emails about, you know, some of them are guitar collectors, they just want a free guitar. Some of them actually are sincere. But when you got a guy like our friend Uncle D, backing up a band and managing a band, it definitely holds a lot of credibility. So that basically puts him right to the front of the line. And you know, I'm really happy about the engagement with the two people, or not the two people, but with Uncle D and the band. I think it works out really well for both of them.
Anybody that rides, you understand that sense of freedom, just that there's no cell phone going off, there's nothing buzzing in your ear, there's no, even when you're stuck in traffic when you're on a bike, it's the exhilaration of the ride. And to me, it goes one in one. The rock and roll lifestyle, you're on a kick-ass cruising bike, heading down the highway, you know? And let's face it, the chicks like it. I'm all about the cruisers. And what a cruiser is kind of the old school bikes, you know, kind of like the Harleys, the Kawasaki's. You're just kind of leaning forward, and it just kind of, to me, it gives me more the sensation of the road. This way I'm able to put a couple bags on the back of it, throw my camera gear in there, man, throw my laptops and hit the road, and go for a few photo shoots. Or for me, I just drive just to kind of clear the head. And for the ride itself, I like to kind of make it customize it. I like to make it more my own, you know? So I go with the flat black, makes my logos pop that much more. I use the skull mirrors and whatnot because it kind of symbolizes my logo a little bit. And, you know, rip off the windshield and just kind of keep it kind of lean, mean, and streaking. So a lot of people will, they're kind of confused on what this bike is, because I took all the branding and labels off and everything and just stick with the Uncle D. So unless you're a biker, you're not going to know what this is. It's a Kawasaki Mean Streak, so it's an early 2000 model. I just like that style, you know, so I don't have to do a lot of customizing with the pegs, so your feet are still out a little bit more, which is what I like, so that when you're down, you're just kind of down cruising, you know? It's just got this cool feel when you're riding. For the customize of this, these things look pretty customized right off the block. So when you buy a stock bike from these, and that's what I like about them, you don't got to spend a whole lot more money to make it look like your own. Being a cruiser, it's got a low-profile tire, so you feel the road a bit more. You know, when I say low-profile, for those that don't know, it's just you got a thinner tire, you know? So you're going to feel the bumps a bit more, but the positive side is this thing's got to have a cross between a sport bike and a cruiser, just the way they designed it, and I like that. So you're able to kind of cruise the corners, really hug the corners a bit more. Not that I'm that type of rider, but every now and then you kind of gun it, you know? And I like to be able to know that I can just kind of spin around. So when you're riding with this thing, with it being a 1500 engine, that's more than enough for most people. And it's plenty enough for me so I don't kill myself too fast. Sure, I got the ultimate cool guy job. You know, yeah, what I do, shoot booty and, you know, run my own websites and all that and travel the world, that's great. But every now and then, you gotta have some me time, you know? So being on the bike, on the open road, and just kind of no distractions, it allows you time to get in touch with your inner self, as cheesy as that sounds, you know? So when you're out there, there's no distraction, you're just enjoying the wind in the air, the scent of the land, and just the feel of the road. I don't ride for the speed, I kind of ride for the frame of mind. You know, I go out, you know, I do 80 kilometers, man. I'm just kind of go out, get out of the city, get out of the congestion, and make me feel as much as I can like I'm back home. You know, so I grew up on the farm and stuff like that. So I like to kind of go out in the rural areas. You got the hills, you got the windings and stuff. You know, minimal traffic, minimal distractions, no cell phone going off, you know, no emails to check. So when I'm out on the highway, out on the rural area, that's when I can get my thoughts together. And I got a lot of cool fans. They're not disrespectful, you know? Mind you, I don't look like you want to be disrespecting me. But they come up and they're very cool with what I do. And I think, you know, like I'm just the everyday guy. You know, I'm just a regular Joe Blow, but I do a job that's, you know, not so average. And they like that, and they can relate to it. It's like one for the team, like, yeah, he's doing it. Finally, there's someone that stuck to their guns. They didn't get sucked down into society's standards, you know? I'm Uncle D, and I got a road to travel.